Dobrodošli u agendu Svijeta. Europska unija odlučila se obrambeno emancipirati od SAD-a i ubrzano naoružati. No jednoj zemlji u Europskoj uniji nije trebalo davati dodatnog poticaja za golem rast ulaganja u vojnu moć. Poljska uvjerljivo predvodi stari kontinent i u ovoj godini trebala bi uložiti 4,7% svog BDP-a u obranu. O tome i još nekim zanimljivostima iz Poljske bit će riječi u idućih 25 minuta. I ja pozdravljam profesora političkih znanosti s Jagiellonskog sveučilišta u Krakovu, Mateuszoma Kamionku. Welcome, professor, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Hello. Thank you for this opportunity.
Okay, let us first watch our story with some highlights about this topic. Pogledamo prvo prilog kolege Aščića.
Poljska vojska svakodnevno patrolira duž granice s Bjelorusijom, dugačke više od 400 km. U jeku migrantske krize izazvane politikom Minska, Varšava je reagirala snažno, podignut je čelični zid s bodljikavom žicom, a u pograničnim područjima proglašeno je izvanredno stanje.
Nie ma na razie żadnych wskazań co do tego, że agresja hybrydowa ze strony Białorusi wspieranej przez Rosję ustanie, więc będziemy podejmować kolejne przedsięwzięcia.
Dok su ruske snage već 4. godinu zapele u stepi na istoku Ukrajine, Poljska se priprema da postane najmilitariziranija članica Europske unije. Već sada ima 144.000 profesionalnih vojnika i još 40.000 rezervista, a cilj je da pod oružjem bude ukupno pola milijuna ljudi. Iako Moskva poriče ambicije prema Europi, Varšava modernizira vojsku, povećava kapacitete i ulaže rekordne iznose u obranu.
Polska będzie bardzo efektywnie wspierała wszystkie działania na rzecz pokoju, stabilizacji i sprawiedliwego rozstrzygnięcia tej wojny. Przede wszystkim wtedy, kiedy będziemy skutecznie bronili naszej granicy i całej wschodniej granicy NATO i Unii Europejskiej.
Что у нас нет никаких интересов ни в Польше, ни в Латвии, нигде. Зачем нам это? У нас просто нету никаких интересов, одни угрозы.
Poljska danas ulaže gotovo 5% BDP-a u obranu, najviše među članicama NATO. Samo prošle godine potrošeno je više od 30 milijardi eura. Od početka ruske invazije, Varšava je Ukrajini isporučila praktički sve svoje zalihe sovjetskog oružja, više od 300 tenkova, koje sada nadomješta modernim Abramsima i južnokorejskim K2. Stara sovjetska tehnologija postupno se povlači. Migove zamjenjuju zrakoplovi F-35, a sustavi HIMARS i Patriot dodatno jačaju obrambeni kišobran.
Mówienie dzisiaj, że nie ma potrzeby wydawania 3% na obronność i że jest to nieuzasadnione, wydaje mi się, że śmiało są argumenty na to, żeby bronić tezy, że ten próg minimum 3% PKB powinien zostać przez państwa sojusznicze osiągnięty.
Posebno osjetljivo područje ostaje granica s ruskom enklavom Kaliningradom, 210 km pod posebnim nadzorom. Ovdje je svaka mjera podignuta na maksimum, rovovi, betonske zapreke, mine.
W tym momencie widzimy rów przeciwczołgowy. Za rowem przeciwczołgowym, jeśli spojrzymy sobie w prawo, mamy jeże żelbetonowe. Za jeżami ma być zostawione miejsce na potencjalne pola minowe oraz następną grupę jeży.
Mobilizujemy Europę, aby traktować te granice jako wspólny obowiązek i tak jak już o tym informowałem, mamy to kolejne potwierdzenie, że zarówno tarcza wschód, a więc ten militarny wymiar obrony granicy.
Dok Rusija tvrdi da ne planira napasti ni jednu članicu NATO-a, glavni tajnik Mark Rutte upozorava da je savez spreman za obranu saveznika u slučaju ruskog napada.
If anyone were to miscalculate and think they can get away with an attack on Poland or on any other ally, they will be met with the full force of this fierce alliance. Our reaction will be devastating. This has to be very clear to Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin.
Это просто страшилки для обывателей. Для того, чтобы выбить из налогоплательщиков США, выбить из налогоплательщиков Европы дополнительные деньги в противостоянии с Россией на украинском театре военных действий.
Oslonac se kao i dosad nalazi u NATO-u i Sjedinjenim Američkim Državama. U Poljskoj je stacionirano oko 10.000 američkih vojnika te dodatnih 5.000 iz drugih članica Saveza, uključujući i 90-ak hrvatskih vojnika. Od 2008. ovdje je američki proturaketni štit za koji Moskva smatra da podriva njezin nuklearni arsenal.
It's that combat readiness here in Central Europe that assures our allies of our lasting commitment to NATO and deters our adversaries.
Iako mnogi analitičari izravan ruski napad na Poljsku ne smatraju izglednom opcijom zbog ograničenih ruskih kapaciteta i rizika sukoba s NATO-om, Varšava ništa ne prepušta slučaju i priprema se za rat kao da je to neizbježan scenarij.
Okay, Professor, we saw that Poland is obviously investing a lot in defense, spending 30 billion euros, as we just heard, the largest defense budget in EU, right now 4.7% of its GDP for this year. Does this mean that right now your army is actively recruiting people? Because we heard that the aim for the government is 500,000 soldiers, or right now is more about procuring arms and equipment?
And yeah, it's true. Like Poland, it's trying to, in few years, trying to build like 500,000 army, including 150,000 active reserve. But till end of the year, till end of this year, it's only 210,000. Then it means that that we are on progress of building that. And as well. Now Poland is promoting military service, mostly for youth. There are some new projects for students and for youth, for teenagers, starting from 18 till 35. They can go, for example, for 2 months holidays to the army camps. They get a salary for that, and they have a military training. And 2 months, maybe it's not a lot, but when we are, for example, comparing that for even to the training that have Ukrainian military, it's twice big that Ukrainian military army soldiers have when they are going to the front. Then it's still a lot. But we should underline that the last conscription, like recruitment for their army, was 70 years ago. It means that still there is a problem with getting this recruitment, these youth soldiers to the army, and this is the one thing. The second, it's of course buying military equipment. There's 2 biggest suppliers, of course, United States. We are waiting for our F-35 jets, fighters. And as well, the second is South Korea. They are sending us, we are buying them, buying the tanks, K2, and as well howitzers from there. But we are not forgetting about our industry in Poland, because the experience and knowledge that we get from the war in Ukraine show that, for example, our crab howitzers are quite good on the battlefield, and this is the reason I think that Poland will support to produce their own military equipment. And as well, we should not forget that we need 155mm shells for the artillery. The conflict in Ukraine shows that it's few thousand per day can be used on the battlefield, and not only Poland, but I think all the NATO countries have a huge problem with that. And this is the reason we will rebuild our military industrially, mostly as well connected to producing shells.
Tell us a little bit from the political side, how does the Polish public, citizens are accepting all of these measures? Are the public unanimous on this issue, or there is some opposition to such a military buildup?
Of course, always is opposition. The firstly and most loud is, of course, far right and far left. And it's not a shock for us, I think, that they are doing that they are underlining that it should not happen. But as well, there are, as I said already, there are parents that are really scared of sending kids to the army, because we have this experience back in time, when they were young, in 90s and even earlier, that the army was the worst place to go. And this is the reason. Of course, it's changed, but as I said, already 70 years we didn't have the opportunity for youth to go to the army. And of course, army evaluate a lot in NATO way and etc. But still, this fear of the army that are still somehow in the heads of some parents are still existing. Then this is the thing that really we should change. And of course, when we are saying about far right and far left, there is propaganda. Mostly, I think, from abroad that are saying that we don't have to be ready because it's not our war. I mean, Ukrainian war, and we will be never attacked, etc. But as we know, the same narration was in Ukraine. Even before in 2014, when you will ask somebody on the street in Ukraine, they will say the same. Never Russia will attack us, and this is the reason they were not protected. And the same narration is the same even today in Poland, for example. But in my personal opinion, we should always prepare ourselves. And still, it's our history that we had always some, we can say, issues with East countries like even the Tsar Russia and then Soviet Union. Then this is the reason, even from the historical experience, we should react.
Yeah, and we saw in the story that you actually double protected, let's say, this eastern border already with some sort of wall or high border. Are there any other similar projects inside the Poland's, I don't know, building obstacles, building bunker system or something like that?
Mm-hmm. When you mentioned about the wall, we should underline and we should say what was the reason to build it. It was connected to the migration crisis that we have even before the full-scale war in Ukraine. It was made fakely, that these migrants, because it was not Belarusians, of course, or Russians that want to go to Poland or further to some other European countries, but it was mostly refugees from Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, and other countries that came by plane. To Belarus and to Russia, and then they wanted to go across the Polish border to be in Schengen area, and this is the reason Poland decided to build this wall. This is very interesting because, as well, in my personal opinion, it was a good. It should be a good thing because Poland. Some players wanted make Poland be very migrants. When it started. And then, for example, support for refugees from Ukraine wasn't so much, but it was not so clear. And Poles support the migrants from Ukraine. It was not the same case as it was in Belarusian border. But of course, Poland is preparing ourselves. First of all, we have this big project that is named Eastern Shield. It's cost mostly 2.5 billion euros, and it's connected, of course, to the Belarus border and as well to Kaliningrad or Kuleviec, because we have the border with Russia. And it's not only building classical fortification and trench that are, of course, very important, but as well as our experience from the Ukrainian war showed to us that we need electronic warfare system, mostly connected to the drones, because drones are even cheaper than artillery shells. And this is the reason country can build a lot of them, and they are a huge threat for infrastructure, as we know and as we see in Ukraine right now. And as well, Poland and Baltic states withdraw themselves from the Ottawa Treaty. It means that we now can use the landmines and we can product them and store them. And I think that of course, they will be used to mine the fields between the border. And when you said about the preparing as well, now the Fire Brigade, for example, they are making the maps of, in theory, the shelters that we have if in case of some military actions or airstrikes that we are preparing ourselves. And as well, maybe the last thing but still very important, because Polish society is not prepared for war at all. And this is a reason why, for example, government is sending the information about the evacuation backpacks that are very important, like Ukrainian war showed to us, that sometimes you can run away in 24 hours from the battlefield for the occupation zones. And this is the reason as well they are promoting things, what we should in this evacuation backpacks have. There is a lot of research, even mine shows that, like, for example, youth generation it's totally not prepared for military conflict in Europe.
Let's go a little bit on foreign policy. In the past couple of months, for what I can tell, since Donald Trump entered the White House, it seems that the Polish officials are the closest to the current United States administration, let's say still new U.S. administration. Would you agree on this? And why is that? Is this because of you already mentioned that the United States is one of the biggest suppliers of the arms for Poland? Or there are other issues as well?
Yeah, it's not so easy right now because as we know, more than 1 year ago we have the election, and now the prime minister of Poland is a former head of European Council, Donald Tusk, and he is the leader of the civil platform, and his policy is very pro-European, as even his former, we can say, job. It's very pro-Brussels, very pro-Paris and Berlin, of course, and this is the reason that it's changed a lot. Still, supporting the United States is huge in Poland. We should underline that. But it's already different that it should be, for example, when in power was Law and Justice Party. And I think that Law and Justice Party on this, we can say, field, they are happy that they are not in the power. Because I remember when they were clapping their hands when they get the information that in our parliament, by the way, when they get the information like that Donald Trump win the election. But now, after a few decisions of Donald Trump, for example, connected to custom policy or withdrawing the American soldiers from Rzeszów, they don't look so happy about that. They still are supporting their policy, like the new government or from Washington, but as well they are not so happy that they were. They didn't know how much it will change.
And you mentioned previous parliamentary elections, but presidential elections in Poland is due in less than 4 weeks, May 18th, if I'm not mistaken. What are the major topics in the campaign? I mean, it's already campaign probably going on, and is this also security and defense?
Yes, yes, it is. First of all, yes, of course, Ukrainian war, I think it's the biggest issue, but as well it have different ways one candidate use. For example, most of candidates agree that we should somehow protect ourselves, as well on support, and then it's supporting Ukraine. And this topic of supporting Ukraine is already different with the candidates. For example, Trzaskowski is saying that we should still support Ukraine a lot. We should still send arms and we should protect ourselves. But as well, he already said that refugees, like Ukrainians with refugees experience that live in Poland and don't work, they should not get a social support for kids. Maybe you know, in Poland we have this social support program. Its name is 800 plus. It more or less it's 200 euros, a bit less per month per kid. And all people that live in Poland can have it. It means as well refugees. Then, for example, every refugees for every kid, they get more or less 200 euros per month. Till the kid is not 18. And for example, even Trzaskowski said that we should take it from the refugees that don't work. And it started a lot of controversies because when, for example, you are refugees with 2 or 3 kids, and then you are living alone and then going to work, it's very problematic. But for example, other candidates are supporting that as well, because we should underline that now the candidates, they are fighting for 2 voters groups. First of all, it's far-right voters, and the second group is youth. And this is the reason most of the campaign are connected to these two groups. As I said, helping Ukrainian refugees and helping Ukraine at all, it's a fourth issue, very, how to say, tasty for voters, far-right voters. And the second is youth, because youth helped a lot the civil platform last year of winning the election. Oh, it's always 1 year and a bit, win the elections. And now all the candidates want to have these youth voters. But, and it was, all of them have different idea how to take it. But as well, it's very important for them. Of course, Ukraine, the war. The second thing, it's abortion. Still, there are some smaller candidates, for example, for far right, that are coming back to the abortion law in Poland, and it's very strict, and even very strict abortion law. It's still they are using it as a tool in campaign, and you know it's very hard for the main candidates to comment about that, because there is not a gray answer. It's only black or white, and they use it, and as well. Conservative patriarchat, this was an issue as well. For example, Manson used it a lot, and Confederation Party, where how our society should look, it should be more conservative. But Manson made as well a huge mistake a few weeks ago when he said that he's very liberal, and he said that, for example, students should pay for universities. Mm-hmm. And he is based mostly on youth voters, but he make a lot of mistakes, because it's hard to be very conservative and at the same time
to be close to youth. Yeah. Just a short clarification for our viewers. You mentioned several names. So the Warsaw mayor is Rafał Trzaskowski. You mentioned him. He's now the candidate of the ruling civic platform, and he's ahead in polls. But we will not probably win in the first round. The second one is Karol Nawrocki, who is the candidate of the Law and Justice Party, and basically we can expect that two of them are in the second round, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Rafał Trzaskowski, as you already mentioned, he is mayor of Warsaw, and he is this liberal candidate. Mm-hmm. But it's as well But what I want to underline, that he don't want to be too liberal. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like in Poland right now, that in most of the countries we have this tribe system. Mm-hmm. We have two tribes. One is civil platform voters, and the second is law and justice voters. And definitely this is this iron electorate that they will definitely vote for their candidates. Even if they will, I don't know what they will do. They will always support them. But now the battle is on the voters that are not supporting these two candidates.
Undecided voters.
Yeah, and this is the reason Trzaskowski want to be very liberal. On the same time, Karol Nawrocki want to be very, how to say, a sportish. He wants to be very active. He's making box. He's playing football with kids, with teenagers, to make this to get this voters with voters.
You obviously have a proper campaign going on, Professor Kamionka. Thank you very much for this interview and for your clarifications.
Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you. Hvala i vama, cijenjene gledateljice i gledatelji. Bila je to još jedna Agenda Svijet do idućeg tjedna. Hvala i doviđenja.